Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to discuss the idea of power sharing. As we all know, in a democracy, all power does not rest with any one organ of the government. An intelligent sharing of power among legislature, executive and judiciary is very important to the design of democracy. In this chapter, we are going to understand the concept and the idea of power sharing. With this, before that, we will look the two stories from the Belgium and the Sri Lanka. Both these stories are about how the democracy handle demands for the power sharing. So let's begin with the first story. In the case of Belgium, Belgium is a small country in Europe, smaller in the area than the state of Haryana as compared to India. Okay, it shares the border with France, Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg, and its ethnic composition is very complex. The ethnic means a social division of based on the shared culture. Okay, the ethnic composition includes different religion of people, language, how their income are, all the type of their ethnic composition. And in the case of Belgium, we will see the ethnic composition in the form of language. 59% of the population speak Dutch, 40% of the population speak French. French speaking population live in Wallonia and Dutch speaking population live in Flemish. And other 1% of the left population speaks German. And Brazil is the capital of Belgium, where 80% of the people live French and 20% Dutch. It is the all data. And what is the situation is different in the capital because the Dutch speaking people who are in majority in the rest of the country but minority in the capital only 20%, while the French speaking population is in minority 40% but in capital their population is in 80%. Okay, so the minority French speaking people or community was relatively rich and powerful. This led to the resent between two community, French speaking community and the Dutch speaking. Why? Because the population of the French speaking are less and they are rich and powerful as compared to the Dutch speaking community. Why this happening? Because the Dutch speaking population who is in majority in the country but minority in the capital. So let's look about the situation in Sri Lanka. First we will looking the situation and then we will come to the solution and of the stories or the case studies. Okay, so Sri Lanka is a island nation. It is an island country just a few kilometers off the southern coast of Tamil Nadu. It has about 2 crore population. Like every country in the world has diverse population. In Sri Lanka will also have. So its diversity is basically also based on the language. There are 74% of the population who speaks Sinhala are mainly of Buddhist and Tamil speaking population is only 18%. Look, the 18% of the Tamil speaking population is divided into two parts. The Tamil native of the country, which are called Sri Lankan Tamil, are approximately of 13%, and the rest of are whose forefather came from India as a plantation worker during the colonial period are known as Indian Tamils. Okay. Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in 1948. The leader of Sinhala communities sought to secure dominance over the government by the virtue of their majority because they were 74% of the population in the population. Okay, so as a result, the democratic elected government adopted a series of majoritarian measures to establish Sinhala supremacy. What are majoritarianism? A belief that the majority community should be able to rule a country in which way it wants by disregarding the wishes and needs of the minority. They were dominating the country, as you can see. Okay, So in 1956 an act was passed to declare Sinhala as an official language as a sign of dominance. Okay, so the government recognized Sinhala applicant for the university job and government job. The whole community of Sinhalas were favored by the government because they were in majority in the parliament. Okay, this was the conflict in the case of Sri Lanka. And now let's look towards the solutions. So first we will start with the accommodation in Belgium. How the Belgium situation got solved. The Belgium leader recognized the existence of regional difference and culture. They actually recognized that there is a lot of diversity in culture and language and differences. They amend to solve the problem. They amend the constitution 4 times between 1970 and 1993. The element of the Belgium model. What was how they solved their problem? The constitution prescribes that the number of Dutch and French speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. In the union government, they were going to make French speaking and French and just speaking equal. They were not going to give any special majority to or special priority to any language speaking people. Seats were reserved equally for both. Okay, the state government are now not subordinate to the central government. State government are not only the worker of the central government, they were given some powers so that they can run the state as they wish in the limitation of a constitution or their laws. Okay, Brazil has a separate government in which both the community have equal representative. Now in the capital city, they have made the government which has both equal members so that they can rule the capital on both terms. Okay, apart from the central and state government, there is a third kind of government elected called a community government. They are now starting to make community government. Okay, what happened in the case of Sri Lanka? The conflict started between two communities. Why the conflict started? As we all know that the Sinhala speaking was in dominant state, so they dominated the whole country. All the government measures coming one after another were all in the favor of Sinhalas, which make the Sri Lankan Tamil feel alienated. They felt that the major political parties are which are led by the Buddhist Sinhalas leaders are not even sensitive about their language and culture. They are only just doing as they think, and they are only promoting Sinhalas, and they were giving opportunity to the only Sinhalas. And the people who were Tamil speaking, they felt discriminated that they are not even getting opportunity to getting jobs, and other opportunities were ignored. As a result, the relationship between both community got disturbed, and the Sri Lankan Tamil launched party and struggle for the recognition of Tamil as an official language, for the regional autonomy and equality of opportunity in securing education and jobs. But their demand for the autonomy to provincial populated by the Tamil was repeatedly denied. They always got stopped by the government. And by 1980s, several political organizations were formed, and one of the major organization was Independent Tamil Eelam in the northern and eastern part of Sri Lanka. They demanding the different state Tamil Eelam for their development, that we that divide let's divide the country into two parts and give a part as in the name of Tamil Eelam so that we can live peacefully. And this led to the civil war, which resulted in the death of many peoples. Thousands of people were killed. Many families were forced to leave the country and go to the refuges, and a lot more people lost their livelihood and jobs. The civil war ended in 2009. Why power sharing? That there are two different sets of reason for this. Okay, first is prudential and second is moral. Okay, so first prudential. What is prudential? It is based on the prudence or the careful calculation of gains and loss of both. Okay, so why? it because the power sharing is a good because it helps reduce the possibility of conflict between social groups, since social conflict often lead to the violence and political stability. Because of that, Prudential argued that power sharing should be happen. And second reason from Prudential is power sharing is a good way to ensure stability of the political order. Imposing the will of majority community over others may look like a better option, but in long run it gradually weaken the unity of the nation and it will cause tyranny. Tyranny of majority is only oppressive for the minority community, but sometimes it creates problem to the majority class itself, like in the what were happening in the Sri Lanka. It caused civil war. And the second reason from the morals is that it emphasizes that act of power sharing is valuable because power sharing is the spirit of democracy. Okay, and people have the right to be consulted on how they are to be governed. And the legitimate government is one who, where citizens through participation became a part in a system. Let if you can't take citizen in the system, then who are you to rule in a democracy? That's simple. Now let's look in the different type of power sharing. First is horizontal distribution of power. In this there are different organ of the government, like in India the organ of the government is legislature, executive and judiciary. This is the arrangement because it allowed different organ of the government placed at the same level to exercise different power. Okay, in such a separation of power ensures that none of the organ can exercise unlimited power. Each government checks each other. There is a system of checks and balance. The result in the balance of power among the various institutions. For example, like the judges who are to be appointed in the judiciary are being nominated by or are being selected by the executives, and executives, but they can check the functioning of executive or laws made by the legislature. And there is function next type of power sharing is the power is shared among the government at different level, like a federal system of the government. Like in India we have central government, and then we have a state government. The power is distributed between two, and then we have local government. State government has given some power to the local government, so that the development happen at the good pace in the society, and every people have some power so that they can make their choices. And now we have the power, the community government, where the every community have given some power. Like in India we also have given some power to the communities like SCs, STs, and they have reserved seat in the our parliament. Power is also shared among political parties and pressure groups, etc. How? Because like example, farmers, there are the pressure group of farmers, there are student unions, there are political parties which demands that government should favor them also, and government should not exercise its overpower, and this takes a form of competitive amongst different parties. Such competition ensures the power does not remain in one-handed, because we have multi-party system. Because of that, power does not always be in the hand of one party, which regulates the government. In a democracy, we have interest groups such as businessmen, industrialists, farmers, and workers. Even students is also a type of pressure group. Okay. Thank you for watching the video. If you think that this video was helpful, please share it with your friends and like the videos and subscribe the channel. Thank you and have a nice day.